Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. Welcome to Hunting for Answers, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and today we're highlighting a case that's left a shadow over Aurora, Colorado for 9 years. On July 15th, 2016, a promising 16-year-old girl with dreams of becoming a nurse walked out of her home at 2 a.m. and vanished without a trace. Surveillance footage captured her final known moments, but what happened next still remains a mystery. The investigation has led the FBI down a dark path of human trafficking leads over the years, but none pointing to solid answers. This is the story of Lashaya Stine. Lashaya Stine was born in 2000, growing up in Aurora, Colorado with big dreams and an even bigger heart. She was just 16 years old at the time of her disappearance and stood 5'6" with black hair and brown eyes. Lashaya was a gifted student, and her ambition really made her stand out. She was a student at George Washington High School, but she wasn't just going through the motions. Lashaya had a clear vision for her future. She wanted to become a nurse, and she wasn't waiting until graduation to start working towards her goal. That summer of 2016, Lashaya had secured something remarkable for someone her age: an internship at the University of Colorado Hospital. She was also planning to spend time as an intern at a nearby medical school. The night before, Friday, July 15th, a chain of events would occur that would ultimately lead to her disappearance. Around 2 a.m., Lashaya discovered her younger brothers were still awake. In a typical big sister moment, she had scolded them for being up so late and threatened to tell their mother if they didn't go to sleep. After making sure they complied, she closed their bedroom doors behind her. Her other brother, just 1 year older, was already asleep. The house was quiet. Her family was safe in their beds. But something compelled Lashaya to leave. Shortly after checking on her brothers, she left the home, presumably to meet someone. She didn't have permission from her mother to leave, and she didn't wake anyone to say where she was going. What's particularly troubling is what she left behind. Her mother, Sabrina Jones, would later tell investigators that Lashaya had snuck out without her wallet, without her phone charger, and without any extra clothes. This wasn't the behavior of someone planning to be gone for a very long time. But Lashaya's movements that night weren't completely invisible. Surveillance cameras in the area captured crucial footage that would later become the last confirmed sighting of her. Between 2:15 and 2:30 a.m., cameras recorded Lashaya walking alone near the intersection of Peoria Street and Montview Boulevard in Aurora. She was wearing a black tank top and blue shorts, the same clothes she'd been wearing when she left home. The footage shows a teenage girl walking by herself in the pre-dawn hours, but it raises more questions than it answers. Where was she going? Was she meeting someone? And if so, who? Her mother suspected that Lashaya might have been going to meet a boy, based on the timing and circumstances captured in the surveillance footage. When Lashaya failed to return home and missed her job interview on July 16th, her family knew something was terribly wrong. This wasn't a girl who would simply disappear without any explanation. She had too much to live for, too many plans, and too much promise. The Aurora Police Department immediately launched an investigation, but the trail was already growing cold. The surveillance footage provided a starting point, but beyond those critical minutes near Peoria Street and Montview Boulevard, Lashaya had seemingly vanished into thin air. As days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months, the case took a more serious tone. The FBI Denver office joined the investigation, bringing on federal resources to help find Lashaya. But what they would discover would point to something no one expected. As the investigation progressed, tips began coming in. Between 2016 and 2019, authorities received numerous tips pointing to a nightmare scenario that no parent wants to imagine. But it did provide hope that Lashaya may still be alive. Multiple witnesses reported sightings of her in and around motels, specifically motels in areas known to be popular for human trafficking operations. These weren't random sightings either. The details were too specific, too accurate to dismiss. One of the most compelling tips came from someone who claimed to have seen Lashaya at a motel and was able to accurately describe a distinctive scar on her chest, a detail that wasn't publicly known, so you would have had to actually see her to know this. But perhaps the most heartbreaking piece of evidence came from another young woman, a girl who had managed to escape from a trafficking situation. She came forward claiming that she had been with Lashaya, that they had been trapped in the same horrific circumstances. According to these reports, Lashaya was seen with a man who appeared to be controlling her movements, taking her in and out of Colorado and into different states. This is a classic pattern in human trafficking cases, constantly moving victims to avoid detection and prevent them from forming connections that might lead to escape. Years passed, and the investigation continued. The FBI and Aurora Police were following leads, pursuing tips, and staying hopeful in finding Lashaya. In their search, law enforcement focused on an address that had connections to Lashaya's past, a house located on 2200 Lansing Street in Aurora. This house was in the same area where Lashaya had last been seen walking, and police learned that she had known the previous residents. The search of this property was extensive and methodical. For 3 days, Aurora Police and FBI agents combed through every inch of the home and its surrounding property. They brought in specialized equipment capable of breaking through concrete, suggesting that they were looking for something or someone that might have been hidden. However, the results of that search have not been made public. Today, it's been 9 years since Lashaya's disappearance. Her case remains active, and the reward for information leading to her whereabouts has been increased to $15,000. Lashaya's mother, Sabrina, has never stopped fighting for her daughter. She's done interviews, worked with investigators, and tried to keep Lashaya's story in the public eye. Today, Lashaya Stine would be 25 years old. Although it hasn't been officially confirmed that Lashaya is a victim of human trafficking, several warning signs suggest that possibly, shedding light on a disturbing reality. Human trafficking is happening right here, right now, to young girls just like Lashaya. The FBI and child advocacy organizations warn that hundreds of thousands of children in the U.S. are at risk of trafficking every year. And it's not just runaways or kids without support. It's teens like Lashaya with loving families and bright futures. Traffickers often use social media to identify and lure their victims, offering false promises of love, money, or opportunity. Once trapped, these young people are frequently moved to avoid detection, kept isolated, and controlled through a toxic mix of manipulation, threats, violence, and sometimes even drugs. The signs can be subtle, but the danger is real. My thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of Lashaya Stine. 9 years have passed since she vanished. 9 years of unanswered questions, and 9 years of her loved ones praying for her safe return. Anyone with information about Lashaya Stine's disappearance should contact the Aurora Police Department or Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. You can find their contact information in the description box below. As we close out this episode, don't forget to click the follow button to stay updated on Lashaya's case and others like it. Be sure to subscribe to Hunting for Answers on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more true crime updates. And if you are watching us on YouTube, let us know your thoughts on this case down in the comments. Have you heard of Lashaya Stine's case before? Let us know. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode. Until next time. Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from the Black Effect Podcast Network, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.